Hi there, Zhoka here from Pocketful of Happiness, and in this video I'm going to be focusing on the new layering Easter eggs die set. This is similar, well, the concept is similar to the previous released layering irregular shapes, and I'm actually going about it the same way as in that video. So I am die cutting 2 layers for each layer. So that means I am die cutting the egg from a color cardstock and also from a white cardstock. This one is completely ruined. This one is, this cardstock is very thin, and even the yellow tape pulled off the texture, but here I'm a bit more careful, although this part actually is not going to be visible at all. What I was gonna say is I want every layer to be sturdy, so I am die cutting the layers from color cardstock and heavyweight white color white cardstock, and I'm going to glue them together like you see here. And if they don't quite line up, then I trimmed off the edges. And this is an A2 size panel, and then as you can see here, there was a little bit of a white edge that I had to trim off. Sometimes I'm not able to line it up properly for some reason. Now for this I'm actually using liquid glue. I think it's because I need to be able to move it for a second or two. Otherwise, I would use double-sided adhesive because, especially with this cardstock here, I'm trying to flatten it out. You can see everything through that one. It's so thin. But normally, otherwise, it's not visible that I use liquid glue. And in this case, it didn't bother me because it's not going to be on the front of the card. This is going to be actually one of the bottom layers, as you can see here. I'm adding, since this is not going to be any kind of shaker element, I don't really need a whole lot of dimension between the layers, but I am adding a really thin foam tape, I think maybe 1 millimeter, just so that there's just a teeny tiny bit of space between the layers. And actually, well, if you remember maybe from last time, the irregular shaped cards, those I went with a monochromatic type of design, so I have the same color but then different shades for every layer, and then I'm going from lighter to darker as I go from the front to the back. But I wanted this to be a bit more fun, so I chose some Easter colors, or colors that I associate with Easter, like pastel pinks and purples and yellow and greens. I skipped the orange. Not that I hate orange, but it's not particularly my favorite color. No. This first card is gonna be colorful, but I actually don't hate how it turned out. If you use the same color, then I think it just turns out a bit more elegant, and this one is just a bit more fun, I guess. So I used 2 greens for my foliage, and I die cut them from heavyweight white cardstock, and in fact every element that you see here is backed with white cardstock as well, so everything is nice and sturdy. And I added some lighter yellow to the middle or the center of the flower, so it's not well, how do you say that? I don't know what I want to explain. Basically, that you cannot see the layer that's under the flower. You cannot see that color, like the purple or the pink, whatever color it's on. I wanted it to stay yellow. So if that makes sense, that's why I filled up that flower center. So now I am gluing everything in place, and mostly I use liquid glue, but sometimes I have to fill up these layers, right? So that nothing is gonna be crushed if I ever want to mail it out. And that's it. It's a very simple card actually. In fact, every single one of them in this video is super simple. Um, and this set comes with a small sentiment that says Easter blessings, but I think I did not use that, just a part of it. I used, I don't know which project I created this one for. This is from the Happy Easter set from last year, and I did not want to waste it, so I thought, why not mix and match? So I am going to use the Happy from that set and Easter from this particular set, and then I have two different fonts. I like that look. And then this card is ready, and I'm going to create something a little different. This one I'm going to keep monochromatic, and in fact the next card as well, but on that one I'm not even going to use the eggs, but here I will. And I am not going to create the kind of layered look that I did on the previous card. I'm just going to do one basically like a frame with this one. So first of all, I added the darkest yellow to my card base, so that's peeking through here. Then I die cut the smallest, so I die cut the largest egg from the background, or the first layer, so to say. And then I'm also die cutting the smallest egg from a third kind of yellow, so that I have a little bit of opening in between the two, if that makes sense. I also added foam tape to my middle for my to the smallest egg that's gonna be in the middle. And now I am going to attach this panel, and I want to fill up that gap with some of these foliage that I had left over. I die cut a lot of them from white because I don't know, I wasn't sure what I'm gonna do with them yet. Sometimes I'm just die cutting without thinking. Actually, most of the time I do that, and then I just try to use whatever I die cut. It's actually, I think I like the challenge, just to not to have a plan, just to go with the flow, whatever comes up. So that's what I'm doing, but it's again a super simple design. And then I had some quite a few little bunnies left, so I will add that to my main, or not main, but like the centerpiece in the middle. And then I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with the sentiment. At this point I did not have Easter from a white cardstock because I use it on my previous card, so I will have to die cut that again, and I will have to layer this up just to add a little bit of dimension to the sentiments, and then I will add that under my rabbit. And as you can see, I die cut the Easter one as well, and I also already prepared that, so it's 2 layers of cardstock. And that's it actually for this card. I didn't even add enamel dots, I thought about it later. Now for the last one, is my favorite technique always. When I have a whole lot of small die cut shapes, I just randomly create a pattern panel with it, and that's the case here as well. I am adding white bunnies to my periwinkle panel. And then I have a lot of little flowers from the darker shade as well. And I'm trying to fill up the gaps with as many flowers as I can. And that's it. I'm now going to start gluing everything down, and eventually I'm going to trim off the edges. In fact, I now totally edited out that section. I don't know why I left all of it in. I mean, this is not something I guess that you have to see. It's just really gluing things down that I already arranged. Of course, often as soon as I lift a piece up, I forget what what direction it was in or whatever. So it always turns out differently than what I originally came up with. And of course, now that I think about it, it would have been useful to use maybe the press and seal for this purpose. But two things: one, my glue dries too fast for that, so by the time I glue up everything, it would have been half of it would have been dry. The other thing is, this is a very sensitive so to say cardstock, especially the lighter one. If I do the press and seal, it would have torn apart the top layer of that cardstock. So in this case, that wouldn't have been an option for me anyway. Okay, so here are these simple cards from this video. I hope I could give you anyway some ideas for Easter. I hope you like the cards, and I hope you like the new products. Thank you very much for being here and watching all the videos, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.